Hey there guys, and welcome to a GSG review with me, Stu. Today we're looking at The Force Unleashed 2, the sequel obviously to The Force Unleashed 1, but you probably guessed that. Not overly a fan of this game. Wasn't that much of a fan of the first one. I felt it was too linear, too hack and slash. The second one is pretty much more of the same. It's a bit less linear. You feel like you've got a few different choices, even though you are just continually pushed in one direction, which is a shame after playing so many open world sandbox games nowadays. I just feel like I'd rather do what I want to do, go where I want to go, as opposed to being pushed down one path. But it's good. It's good. There's some new force powers from the first one, and the game itself is good. The graphics in the cutscenes are amazing. I love the graphics in the cutscenes. The voice acting is fantastic as well. However, when it comes to gameplay, it feels really repetitive and just like you're doing the same thing over and over again. When you come to the quick time events, like in the first one, it doesn't feel as varied. It feels like every quick time event is the same, and you're just hitting the same button over and over again. There's no skill to it. It's not like enemies can have multiple quick time events, which is a shame because every quick time event ends up the same. If you're fighting a walker and it fires missiles, you end up hitting B or X, and then you just fire the missiles back at it. There's no cool different animations you can get for it, which is a big shame. The game itself, I'm not really too sure about the storyline. I think it's a bit weak. You sort of go through the entire game and you don't really find out anything, which is a bit poor in my opinion. I felt I started the game with as much knowledge as I ended it with. The boss fights go on forever. The boss fights are the longest part of this game, and it ruins it for it really. You go through an entire level and a boss fight can actually be most of the level. Well, the end of a level can be most of a boss fight really. I think some boss fights go on for a good couple of minutes, a good 5 minutes, and they're not even fun. It's just repetitive boss fights. It's, oh, you slash this enemy here, and then you do a quick time button pressy event, and then you finish him off by doing a bit of damage, and then he frees himself and you have to do the same thing again, which is a shame. It's just like the end boss fight, the Darth Vader boss fight at the end, spoiler, if you hadn't already played this game, which has been out months, is really terrible. It's just jumping from one platform to another. It's not very fun. It doesn't really use a lot of mechanics. You can pretty much do it by just hacking and slashing at Vader. In my opinion, there's a huge problem with the enemies, and that is that some of them can withstand your force powers. As Starkiller, or whatever you're supposed to be, the clone of Starkiller, you don't really find out. It doesn't really feel like any enemy should be able to withstand a force power. This powerful Jedi that you're, well, Jedi/Sith that you're supposed to be, and a random Stormtrooper type enemy can withstand your force powers. What the hell's that about, you know? How are you supposed to take out these people if you're not a super strong Jedi? Likewise, how can someone be equally as good at you as lightsaber combat if you're a Jedi and they're just a normal clone trooper? It doesn't make sense. You get to a point where you feel like the enemies you're facing are almost better than you at what they do, and you don't feel as powerful as you should. In the game you can actually change your skin and give yourself different lightsaber crystals. The skins can become like Boba Fett and all that sort of stuff, but that appears to change when you move on to the next part of a level, or you restart the game, or you level select whatever you want to do, which becomes annoying then because you have to keep changing it. It feels a bit pointless to me. It doesn't feel like there's any reason to change your skin or anything like that. The lightsabers, on the other hand, getting the crystals can be a big help, as each crystal gives you a different bonus, so that there does feel like a good sort of thing to have in the game. Although, I could live without it in some respects. Just like the upgrading, I think I went through the game and didn't bother upgrading a single skill. I mean, to me it just felt pointless because I wasn't actually using any of the main skills that you're supposed to, because it's that simple. I think I pretty much went through the game just hacking and slashing my way, which isn't how you're supposed to do it, I guess, but it's how I played. Yeah, that's about it really. I think it's an alright game to play. It's a good game if you've got nothing else to do, but at the minute, you know, you've got quite a lot of big releases coming up. You've got Skyrim, you've got the new Gears of War, you've got the new COD, you've got the new Battlefield. I wouldn't say buy it and play it with all these games coming out, but if you've got nothing better to do and you're a Star Wars fan, because let's face it, if you're a Star Wars fan, you're going to enjoy the game, you may as well buy this, give it a go, see what you think. I think you can pick it up quite cheaply now, so yeah, it's worth a pick up if you can get it cheap and you've got nothing else to do. My final criticism of the game would be the final decision you get to make, and it was the same at the end of the first one, and it's the same at the end of this one. You get the choice to be Jedi or Sith in effect, and to me it feels pointless because the decision you make doesn't affect the next game, or else the next game would be based on this one decision that you make, and they're never going to do that. It's just a ridiculous choice. You don't go throughout the entire game, you don't get decisions that you get to make that affect who you are and the way you play. You don't get to choose whether you're Jedi or Sith playing, you just kill clone troopers. So I don't see why they give you this Jedi Sith type choice at the end of the game. It just feels pointless and forced, like they're trying to give you some element of you get to choose what to do, but at the same time there's no need for it. That's it guys, thanks for listening to this review. If you liked, please thumbs up, favourite, comment and subscribe. It helps you keep up to date with all our new review videos. Thanks for listening.